Did you ever notice that the music that you hear in your head always sounds better than what comes out of your instrument? You're able to imagine these super cool, beautiful lines, but when you try to play them, bad things happen.
Game over.
That distance between your ears and your hands is what I call the gap. And if you feel it, you're in very good company. Your ears evolve quickly and passively, while your technique only evolves with repeated focused practice. Today, we will talk about why the gap exists, if it is possible to ever close it in a lifetime, and how to live with it without losing our minds, or even worse, our love for music. How our musical taste is built. Humans are musical by design. Our brains are incredibly powerful language processing machines. In music, it's a language. And here's the wild part. Music was not invented by humans. It exists in nature and can be proven by physics through the harmonic series. Let's go find a piano. So when you play a low note on the piano, the string does not only vibrate once, it splits into halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, etc. And each smaller vibration creates extra notes that we call harmonics. So harmonics always come in the same order. First an octave, then a fifth, then another octave, then a third, then a fifth, and so on. Now here's the cool part. The first few harmonics in the harmonic series form a major chord. Remember we said it was an octave, a fifth, an octave, and a third? And guess what? The major chord is the most common chord in Western music. If you keep going up the series, you will find a flat 7, which gives us a dominant chord. And if you keep going even higher, you will find a minor third, which gives us a minor chord. And guess what is the most common chord progression in jazz? The good old 2-5-1. So did nature kind of invent jazz music? Were we somehow programmed to come up with pop music and even enjoy it? Do we even have free will at this point? Now bear with me because it's gonna get even crazier than that. Number 2, culture shapes your musical taste. The place that you're born in will decide what kind of musical elements feel like home to you. If you're born in Brazil and Puerto Rico or in the coast of Peru, which is where I'm from, you're probably used to listening to and dancing to polyrhythms and la clave. On the other hand, if you're from India, complex rhythmic cycles called talas and microtones are going to be part of your musical vocabulary. And if you grow up in Europe, you're surrounded by counterpoint, functional harmony, and orchestral colors. From there, subculture and even your own personality will narrow down your musical taste even further. Nowadays, it's not just your family or your culture that define what kind of music you like. It's also algorithms. Spotify's recommendations, Instagram or TikTok algorithms are defining what is cool in the whole world at all times. We definitely do not have free will at this point. Musicologists are always studying musical taste. And in 2011, a group of researchers from MIT hauled a Nord keyboard to the Bolivian Amazon and conducted a very interesting experiment. They played a group of locals from this super remote tribe in the Amazon that had never had contact with Western music, 2 intervals: the major fifth, a C and a G, and the famous tritone, a C and an F sharp. The locals, who had never heard American pop music in their lives, all said that both intervals were equally pretty, while Bolivians from the capital of La Paz and American musicians and non-musicians all said that they preferred the major fifth. Are you surprised?
Yes, that's a very, very interesting theory.
Everyone could hear the difference, but only those steeped in Western culture thought that the tritone was kind of ugly. So if you're constantly listening to bebop or Michael Brecker or amazing musicians with flawless technique on social media, it makes sense that your ears are gonna get used to it and set the standard for your own musicianship pretty high. Number 3, technique. Technique does not evolve passively like our musical taste does. It's built slowly through very hard work and repetition.
on the floor.
You have probably heard the saying that it takes about 10,000 hours to master any discipline. And while the exact number of hours doesn't really matter, here is how it actually works. Each time that you practice something clean, your brain rewires itself. Each repetition adds a type of fatty insulation called myelin to your neurons. Think of it like wrapping your brain cables in rubber. The more insulation, faster and cleaner the signal from your brain to your muscles. This is what some people like to call muscle memory. It's not like your muscles are actually remembering anything. It's just your brain adapting to something that you repeat over and over to make it more efficient. But here's the catch. Myelin builds so slow. It can be weeks or even months until something that you have been practicing actually shows up in your playing. And quality of practice matters too. Practice things that are just slightly harder than your current ability. No distractions, full focus, repeat it with zero mistakes.
Over and over and over.
So here is the paradox. While your hands improve slowly with repetition and hard work and sweat from your forehead, your ears are raising ahead every time you discover new music. And in the era of social media, the gap just gets wider and wider. At best, it can motivate you to keep practicing and growing. But at worst, it can fuel self-doubt, anxiety, and even imposter syndrome.
An imposter.
So can your hands and ears ever meet? Or is this musical path like an asymptote? Two lines forever getting closer but never really touching. Are we doomed? Number 4, mindset change.
Give me some drama.
I have come to realize that the gap is not something that I can ever beat. It's something that I have to accept and almost let it guide my path. When I stop comparing myself to others and focus on what's the real purpose of making music, the gap loses its power and I am free to create. We sadly live in a culture that worships musical prodigies, but in other disciplines, people are granted the gift of time to mature. Nobody will ever say, wow, you must read this novel. It was written by a 12-year-old. It's so deep.
Not only that, but I'm beginning to feel like the world's oldest child prodigy.
Number 5, practical steps. So my conclusion is that the gap is just part of being a curious musician. And if it did not exist, I think growth would stop. It's very easy to get caught up in the fast-paced reality that we're all living in right now. Try to slow down every day, acknowledge the little wins, even if you just practice your instrument for 5 minutes because you were very tired.
A win is a win, Ferdy.
Break big goals into smaller, tiny goals. If your big goal is to be the best guitar player in the world, try to think, what kind of skills does the best guitar player in the world have? And these become your little goals. Record yourself to track progress over time. The real difference, the real improvement is made in months or years. Find mentors who tell you the truth, but also lift you up. If you do find a good mentor, treasure them and make them proud. Feed parts of your life outside of music so that one bad gig doesn't wreck your whole identity. I could definitely work on that. Play in public, even if you don't feel ready. Just here to remind you that practicing your instrument should never be a punishment. It is actually a gift that you give to yourself, so that next time you are playing music with your friends, you get to have even more fun. Think about it. Okay, if any of this resonated with you, like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to share it with your friend who might be stuck in the gap.